Hello everyone, my name is Brendan Snyder. Thank you so much for joining me and welcome to a new series called Random CDs, Random Facts. So we're going to try something a little different here for this one. We're against my 800 CD wall of wonder, or so that's what I call it at least. I love my CDs, so they make me very happy. And I thought what we would do is I would sort of go a little blindfolded and randomly select some of these off of here and then give you some commentary, random facts, things of that nature off of it. And we'd see what kind of fun we have with it there. So we're going to do that. We'll jump into it a bit. We'll do a number of different selections from here. But before we get into that, if you're new to my channel and you haven't already hit the subscribe button, please click the button. Also leave a comment, hit like, all those things help support my channel. I would greatly appreciate it. And of course, as an added bonus, by subscribing, you'll be able to stay up to date on all that's going on in the world of music, just like this. And of course, I say that a little tongue in cheek with random CDs or random facts. So let's get into the first one here. As I mentioned, this is my Wall of Wonder CD collection 800 that's here. Of course, I've got a whole bunch more. If you follow my channel, you know I've got a ton of these other kinds of boxes and things of that nature. So I have over 11,000 CDs, and this thing here is always updating. I basically keep out my, most favorite or popular at the time 800 CDs that I'm always drawing from. So this thing here is always changing. Of course, it has the core artists in it, the big name ones, Aerosmith, Guns N' Roses, Van Halen, etc., and that sort of stuff in it. So let me sort of blindfold myself here, and I will just randomly drop my finger on here and we'll see which one I hit. All right, well, this one here, if I can get it out, not a surprise. AC/DC, Rock or Bust. Look at the lenticular cover on this thing where it does that. Sorry about the light that's sort of reflecting on it, but cool thing here. So this one here, actually, I got to go to a listening party for, and here in New York City, it's where I live. This was downtown in the East Village, and I forget the place that it took place at. I mean, it was a small little club kind of a thing. But it had been rumored that the band, or at least a couple of the members, were going to show up there. And sure enough, Angus Young, Brian Johnson, and the producer, Brendan O'Brien, showed up for this. And so we listened to the whole album. There was video clips and things like that playing while it was going on. They had cannons on the stage, and at the very end of it, they came out. They didn't say too much. It wasn't like an interview or anything, but just getting to see them, take some photos of that sort of thing, and then sort of wishing everybody the best and thanking them for coming out and checking out the album. That was really cool. So I have to say, though, while a lot of people don't speak very highly of this release here, being the first one without Malcolm Young on it, I really like it. I thought it was a great one. It's a short album, but I thought it was very good. So I always like this one here. All right, so let's get into the next one here. Let me do the blindfold again, and we'll go a little lower. All right, so this one here, Dream Theater, Dramatic Turn of Events. This was actually the first one that was without longtime drummer Mike Portnoy, founding member of the band. They went through a very cool process to get the drummer. It was a public thing. They filmed YouTube videos trying out the different drummers that they were doing, and I think there might have been like 8 or 9 different ones. And then ultimately they did a short list of the thing, and then filming the whole thing, and then you could see the announcement, the ones that didn't get it, the ones that got it. It was almost like a reality TV show type thing, but done a lot better than most of those programs and things of that nature. And I have to say, the album, I mean, it's a really good album. Cool thing, this is a deluxe edition of it that has a DVD of that featurette, and it's a 60-minute video about that whole thing. So even if you watch the individual snippets and things that they did, because like I said, it was a 8 or 9 part sort of series sort of thing, they gather it all up and it's edited into one thing here, making it really cool. But this album here, I always really liked, and wasn't quite sure how it would work out, having the new member in the band and that sort of stuff. But all in all, it did very good. I've been a big fan of Dream Theater for a long time, so this kind of stuff was of interest to me, and definitely liked the direction that the band was going and whatnot. But cool album, cool process to get to where they are with it. And sort of hard to believe that it's now been 11 years since Mike Portnoy has been out. out. But I was recently just reading within music news websites and things of that nature that the band itself has actually begun to patch things up between Mike and the other members. They've become friends again, reconnected. Liquid Tension Experiment has recorded an album that was with Mike and two guys from Dream Theater, so they finally did that, and he's gone and seen them live in concert, first time in 11 years since being out of the band that he's seen them. And James LaBrie has been interviewed recently talking about his renewed friendship with Mike Portnoy. So whether or not any of that's going to lead to a reunion is a whole other thing, but either way, do like the current drummer, like the old drummer, so it's all good with me. Let me put this one down, and we'll try and do another one here. And I'm going to step back a little bit because I'm going to try to do one on another spot here. All right, well, interesting one here. So I sometimes leave things on the top. As you can see, these are things that I've pulled out that I'm going to listen to, but they don't go on the rack itself, and then they get filed away, but they never actually make it to the rack. And so this one here is a deluxe edition of the Paul McCartney album New, and this one here's got 3 discs in it. Well, actually it might be 2 discs. Let's see. No, 3 discs. Okay, so it's got the album itself in here. I believe it's got a couple bonus tracks with that, but then there's a second CD in here that's got, let's see, 7 more tracks that are on it here. And it's got some live stuff. It's got some outtakes from it. And then there's a bonus film that's included with it that's got all kinds of different performances and things of that nature. But it's also in a book style thing like that. You can see there's just, cool pictures and things amongst it like that included within it and so forth. And a lot of good stuff like that. I like, deluxe editions like this, and then in the back it's got the 3 different discs that make this thing up like that. But a cool little thing. And so that one sitting out, wasn't expecting to hit on any of those. I was kind of expecting to hit on the CDs themselves, but I have more stuff within this than just the kind of things that you see sitting out here. Actually at the top of this thing, it's got box sets, small mini ones and stuff like that that don't fit either with the big box sets. And of course I've got regular CDs, and as I mentioned, I've got other things floating around on here. All right, so I'm going to specifically try to go low on this one here, and I'll pull out what that is so we can talk about it. All right, so here we go. Kicks, right? This album here, Blow My Fuse, this is a Rock Candy Records reissue, and I think most of you guys know that label. They do such a good job, and they specialize in like classic rock reissues, but also a lot of glam metal. And you can't go wrong with any of their releases because, as you can see, there's a write-up on this part here, but that's just a little excerpt from the booklet itself that always has really great stuff inside these things, showing you, cool photos of it, history of what's going on, great explanation, stuff like that. But always my favorite with these things, they don't always have bonus tracks. In fact, this one here just has the original songs that came off of this thing. And this album, though, for myself, this was my first Kicks album, and absolutely love the song Cold Blood. That was the song, I think this came out in 89, 88 actually, but by 89 that song was everywhere, and that's what I specifically remember. Walking home from school, I was in 8th grade at that time, and that song was always on the radio. That one and the song that's on here, the big ballad Don't Close Your Eyes, was on here, and those 2 songs everywhere in 1989, just lapping that stuff up, enjoying it. Great album, highly recommended. I think most of you guys have this, but if you don't, definitely pick that album up by Kicks, whether it's the Rock Candy Records reissue one or something else. So all right, let's see what else we can do here. I will try and do. All right, so, well, this is an interesting one. Wasn't expecting, again, to hit this. This was one on the shelf there. Jen Grant, and I don't talk a lot about this. This is, I don't know if she's technically country or folk, Orchestra for the Moon, and it came out in 2007. I don't really expect any of you guys to know. Now, maybe those of you that are my fans watching in Canada, she's a Canadian artist, and if you guys know the TV show called Heartland, and for any of you guys not in Canada, you can watch that on Netflix. It's on a number of other networks too, but Netflix in particular, new season just came out. Theme song for that show is done by Jen Grant, and it's the song called Dreamer on here, and that's actually what made me buy this. Was I got hooked on that show. If you don't know Heartland, it's a show about a young teenage girl loses her mother and she helps horses, and that just kind of becomes her thing, and the whole show is about, you know, farm and horses and family life and that sort of stuff. Very, you know, sort of you know, good natured, fun, enjoyable sort of storytelling type thing. And I don't know, I just got into it and it was enjoyable, and it's sort of feel good type show, you know. It has its drama, but otherwise it's supposed to be a feel good type show. And so theme music done by this artist, Jen Grant, in the album Orchestra for the Moon. She's got a number of other albums out, but if you're interested, check out Dreamer. I particularly really like that song and fell in love with the rest of this here. All right, let's do one more of these things. All right, let's see. Where have I not hit? All right, I'm going to try and go behind me over here, so if I step off camera briefly, I'm going to come right back. Okay. All right. Oh, okay, here's a cool one. See if you guys know about this, right? All right, so this is Kevin Martin and the High Watts. And Kevin Martin, if the name sounds familiar, is the lead vocalist for Candlebox. And so the reason he's up higher in the C's there is that I'm keeping it next to Candlebox. I often do that with a lot of my artists. You know, if it's, you know, lead vocalist, you know, has solo albums or something, I often will keep it with the main band that they're with as opposed to keeping it separate. Just kind of depends on how I came into the artist. And so Kevin Martin and the High Watts I came into because of Candlebox. So for me, it just goes there, and there's only one of these, so easy enough to keep it there. But this one is called The Possibility of Being, and looking for the date real quick, I can't find it if it's even on the back here, but I want to say this is early 2000s. I think it was in between Candlebox being a band. I'm pretty sure this was done when Candlebox was no longer at that time, before they had reformed, and just really good stuff. If you're a fan of Candlebox, this sounds like Candlebox. So I would highly recommend checking this out. You know, Kevin Martin also did The Gracious Few, and I think those are the only two things he's done outside of Candlebox. Of course, Candlebox has been reactivated, and you can get that, but it only has a few, if only, I think maybe even just Kevin is the only original member left in Candlebox. I could be wrong, but you know, it's no longer all the members that it originally was. So he's really kind of the driving force today, and when you hear this, you'll hear that how much of what he does is really part of the band and so forth. But great album, can't say enough about this one here. Kevin Martin and the High Watts, The Possibility of Being. And so there you go. I think we did 6, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, so you know, we did a number of different things here. So I just kind of get my bearings on this because this is an on-the-fly type show. So hopefully you enjoyed this, some random CDs, some random facts and commentary about it, and maybe spark some listening ideas or things you want to go out and search. And you know, if this does well, I'll bring it back. I'll do some more of these things, and I'll move around my apartment. I'll do it in some different places, so we'll have some different areas to constantly draw from. But there you go. Hopefully you enjoyed the episode. Leave your comments. Let me know your thoughts. Have a great day, and I'll talk to you all real soon. Bye-bye, everyone.